The assertion of blackness by Allen Iverson at the turn of the century contributed extensively to the new NBA. Welcome back to One Account. Be sure to support the channel by subscribing for more of such content. Allen Iverson, also known as the AI, or The Answer, is equally iconic as he entails an infinite cultural importance, a cultural importance, which still depicts currently in the NBA, 3 decades after his induction to the league, and a cultural importance that cannot be explored without reference to race. An NBA viewership research conducted in the last decade revealed that NBA's viewership demographic comprised of 40% white and 45% black at that period, with the small distinction deriving from the premise that the NBA features as a black league. Nielsen statistics also from the last decade affirms the latter premise, as it cites that black viewers spent roughly 2.9 times more minutes binging on NBA basketball than white viewers, emphasizing the fact that despite the same number of black and white viewers tuning into NBA matchups, white viewers comprise of a much shorter interest-level lifespan. The phenomenon originates from the vanishing of the white American star player and the initially mentioned depiction of the NBA as a black league. However, citing the low numbers of white players in a franchise where the players are majorly black paints the league as too black, a detachment portrays between the white audience and the black league, and the disjoint correlates with the racial distinction and the NBA image. Regardless of the immense influence associated with NBA image as a black league, Allen Iverson doubles up as a central figure to the same. The sum of white fear.
We're talking about practice.
Basketball historians consider Allen Iverson's 3 most iconic moments as comprising of his renowned "We Talking About Practice" monologue, him going 1-on-1 against Michael Jordan and crossing him up during his rookie season, and last, him stepping over Lakers then guard who adds up as a coach, currently Tyronn Lue, in the 2001 NBA Finals. Notably, the 3 moments influenced Allen Iverson to become a cultural icon that he represents currently, as they reflect his pedestrian attitude linked to the practice oration, flaming confidence that permitted him to go head-to-head with Michael Jordan, and the brash demeanor he depicted stepping over Tyronn Lue. As such, considering the vet as controversial during his NBA tenure is an underestimation, as controversy was linked to Iverson prior to his draft in 1996, as he was prosecuted at the age of 17 in 1993 from an altercation including his friends and a group of white students that resulted to the latter being sentenced to 15 years in prison. Iverson dodged the sentence and made his way to the NBA, where he flourished as more polarizing from his personality as a black male and what he epitomized, a conventional fear of the black male body, also known as the black male threat. Arguably, Iverson's induction to the league with a criminal record, tattoos, bling, and cornrows that comprise their own cultural importance, brazenly depicted his swagger coupled with his unapologetic nature concerning himself as a black male, disturbed white viewers' mind. While he empowered the black population, his impact on white America consisted of fear, a horror that later manifested through Ron Artest. In retrospect, Ron Artest also thrives in our memories as a result of his personality, as his reputation precedes him, as he is enduringly associated to the most dreadful incident in American professional sports history and NBA, an incident widely referred to as the malice at the Palace. The incidents contributed to Ron Artest being suspended for a total of 86 games, featuring as the longest suspension in NBA archives. All the initial undesirable labeling linked to Richard Sherman in the last decade, such as cocky, out of control, and a thug, initially referred to Iverson. Nevertheless, as it all intended to engender the idea of the black male threat, an irrational element featured, which critics could point to, which changed with Ron Artest. Notably, the unfounded fear wielded by white America for everything Allen Iverson was and stood for was manifested on that ill-famed night, a night that did irredeemable harm to NBA's unstable image. Ron Artest and Allen Iverson intersect on matters concerning dress code, as after the malice at the Palace incidents, David Stern, the then commissioner, established a mandatory dress code that forbade players against wearing bling and chains over their clothes, as well as shorts and t-shirts when arriving and departing from matchups. Inasmuch as some stakeholders considered the casual dress code as congruent and reasonable with the professional side of being an athlete, many NBA black players reckoned the move as an effort towards damage control in response to the consciousness of the black male threat stemming from the malice at the Palace, while others thought of it as an attack on hip-hop and culture. which culminated to the trend of self-expression introduced and fortified by Allen Iverson. NBA and blackness, commodification and control. Essentially, David Stern's dress code was thought of as a mechanism that endeavored to regulate every approach to the public mind in a way that the public welcomed the anticipated impression, without awareness of the same, an effort towards deracializing and revitalizing the league. Evidently, the effort to control black male bodies and blackness alleviated the black male threat, fostering the commodification of black athletes and shifting them into passive objects. Furthermore, endorsing the image of clean-cut African Americans, the NBA dealt away with not only the undesirable traits, which whites linked with blackness, but also the mentioned race. Ideally, NBA depicted as though it was making headway in the core that was attaching the black aesthetic that whites considered appealing while making blackness invisible. The latter avails us to the white audience's association with the NBA black players, an association that transcends sports, as the black male persists as the most problematic racial subject in the white's mind. Inasmuch as the league might insinuate that the lifeblood of the NBA is awe-inspiring athleticism, a word comprising racial codes, of the players, and that is not overally untrue, what doubles up as untrue concerns the fact that the NBA was also administered with a specific, if often tacit, aims of making black men safe for white consumers motivated by profit motif. However, such days are in the past. As usual, it's mid-February in 2023 during the NBA's annual All-Star Weekend events, this year held at the Vivint Arena, Salt Lake City, Utah, and LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo, the icons of the league, usher the packed crowd to the NBA All-Star All-Style fashion show, which aspires to celebrate African American designers and highlight social justice programs. It is a thing that wasn't possible 10 years ago, but certain to any avid follower of the NBA in the last 2 decades. At its core, the league has not shifted much, but it is still a main distributor of images of African American men for huge audiences, and it still thrives as a black game in a white nation, and it has embraced blackness fully. Currently, NBA games avail a different experience than in the past, as most games commence with a song by a renowned hip-hop rapper or artist before it shifts to highlights package. As the song fades out, the audience is shown an aerial view of the arena, before it shifts to a live video from the back of the arena where one of the NBA's brightest and biggest stars are arriving. A small time is dedicated to show a player's recent statistics, before the discussion quickly moves to the bold outfit choice, which leaves a pioneer such as Allen Iverson mulling why people used to bother him about what he was wearing back then. This is the contemporary NBA, a franchise where hip-hop principles feature as part of the experience through and through. It is a league that only the players' hairdos surpass their self-expressive boldness of outfit choices. It is a league where black players feature in fashion shows, which air prior to dunk contests hosted by comedians, disrupted with reactions from black celebrities and commercials in between, it all alternating from State Farm insurance commercials featuring Chris Paul and True Religion jeans starring Russell Westbrook. Inasmuch as the new NBA is burgeoned with self-expression deriving from multiple stakeholders, there is one whom much of the influence would not be possible without, and the answer, once again, is Allen Iverson.